This is lesson 2 for eDesign. First, when you go to the Herf Jones login, you'll notice that this picture changes each time that you log in. These are kind of the best of photos for the school year, and you can see who took the picture, what school, city, state, that sort of information is here on the bottom right. You can always nominate one of your own pictures for that. Also, our photo editors have been doing that already as part of their job. To pick a photo to go here or to nominate one to go here to Herf Jones, make sure it's a horizontal picture, not a vertical up and down picture, and try to find one that has some negative space, maybe not somebody's face right up here because that's going to be covered up. Either way, you can always nominate yourself. Sign in and go to 2024. I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks today that we will probably be using in our book this year. Pick one of your pages. I'm going to pretend to be Stacy today. First thing Stacy needs to do is to make sure I have already graded this. Like she's going to come over to my desk and say, Beavers, is my grade in for this first assignment since our printer is not working? And once I say yes, she can move on. Now we can go in and we can delete these things individually, but let me show you some tricks on selecting. I'm going to take my mouse and on any corner, it doesn't really matter where, click and draw a box around all the stuff. When you do that, it selects everything that you have grabbed with your mouse. So grab it all, hit delete on your keyboard, it all goes away. Okay, first let's start working with the template. Hover your mouse over to the right-hand side, the one that says templates. It looks like 3 bars. Click on that. There's only one template in there right now. When we set our fonts and our design styles, all of the templates will be over here. We'll have one separate for headline. You click and drag it over. Eventually, ours will be in the right font and it'll be different sizes, but right now, this is what we're working with. Double click on name and turn it to your name, not mine. Make sure capitalization is correct. Next, I'm going to show you how to do a cutout picture. Hover your mouse over Candids, the second one where all of our photos are stored. Of course, if this were your actual page, you would upload your own pictures. We're going to work with what's here. Pick somebody, doesn't matter, this girl, this guy, this football player. Hover your mouse over the image until you see a pencil and a square. Click it, and that's going to import the photo into Canva, where we can do lots of different kinds of editing here. My favorite one is background cutout. A long time ago, we would have to take this image into Photoshop and hand cut out this guy. I love this. Go to Edit Image, Background Remover. It takes a few seconds, but trust me, it's way faster than Photoshop ever could be. The only hard part is remembering one step. Once it cuts the person out, and it's not always perfect, like we can clean up that little tiny bit later, and that's fine. I always go to straight to publish and I forget. I can't do that. You have to click apply first. Whatever you've done to edit the photo, click apply. When it goes back to the screen and blinks, then you can click publish. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting around waiting for something to happen that's not going to happen. I do it all the time. It does take a minute, gives you a nice quote to think about while you're waiting. And the more people who are doing the same thing at the same time, this part's going to take longer. It'll say loading from Canva for quite a while, but eventually your cut out person will appear on the top. There we go. Click and drag your cutout person over. You can resize the person or people. I'm just going to let them hang out right here for right now. Show you the next thing. Next is mods or modules. Go down to the 3 dots, click there. Again, when we set our fonts and our styles and our color palettes, there's going to be lots more modules here. We have this one, which is a tall, skinny quote box. Click and drag it over. I don't care where you put it. On your spread, we'll have a question up here, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 or so people answer. There's a space for their name and grade to answer that question. There's another one over here. Click and drag it over. It's one that's more horizontal. While it's still grouped, you can resize it. Speaking of grouping, when I click away, these all now become separate pieces. Sometimes we get things unaligned. Sometimes we accidentally delete things. So I suggest that once you have your modules where you want them, you group them. To do that, you can click on items, hold down your shift key, and then click on each item in the grouping. Or you can do that trick I showed you earlier, just to grab everything with your mouse by drawing a box. Make sure we don't get this person over here, and go to Object Group. Now when we group them, now they're all together and we're not going to lose anything. Object Group. Okay. You can also object ungroup objects. Let's say if this one was a little off, let me show you how to line things back up. We have this one where we want it, and this one's a little off. Same thing could have happened to these. These could have gotten left or right out of alignment. Hold down your Shift key and select both boxes that you want to line up. And then up here is my liney uppy tool. It looks like a sideways bar chart. It says arrange objects. Find the one that says line up together across the top. Align top. Now we're aligned together. Now I can move them together. Same thing again, if these got all messed up, you can realign them. All right, so we have learned grouping. Now I want to show you lock. Let's say you have this exactly where you want it and you never want to move it again. Go to Object, Lock Object. If anybody comes to your page, they can't move it until you specifically go in and go to Object Unlock. It'll have this little red lock symbol right here, and this won't print. This is just for you to see. But that way, once you have something exactly where you want it, you don't want to accidentally move it, lock it. Lastly, I want to show you how to do a background picture. To do that, we want to see our whole screen. Shortcuts again are on your keyboard. Control plus for zoom in, Control minus for zoom out, Control 0 puts everything right in the middle of the screen. We may or may not do background pictures, but I heard some of you say you like them, so click on rectangular tool. Draw a box as big as the pink outline of your spread. This does not print, it just shows you where the book actually gets cut off. We have a giant picture there now. Go over to images. Doesn't matter again what it is. This is a practice page. Click and drag over a picture. Go to Object, Send to Back. We obviously can't see everything because this photo in the background is way too dark. Object, Effects, Transparency. And turn this down to around, I like around 30. It will print darker than you think it'll print. This is actually, it's always about 10% darker than you think it is. So if you like it at 40, let's turn it down to 30. 10% rule on that. All right, so we have a headline with your name, we have a background picture, we have a cutout photo, and we have two modules that have been, locked and grouped so that they can't move. When you're ready, go over and see Beavers, and she will give you a grade for eDesign Lesson 2.